Gossage. Not bad in his own right. Hall of Famer. He's been with us before, and the Goose is with us here. I believe he's still out in Colorado. Hey, Goose, it's Tiki and Tierney. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Obviously, anytime somebody passes, when you're 90 years old, it's hardly tragic, but it doesn't mean that it's no longer that it's not sad. How did you find out? Your first reaction when you found out that Yogi Berra passed away?
Well, sadness. I kind of compared it to when my mom died. Oh gosh, 7 and 8 years ago, and it's inevitable. She was 93, and yet when they die, it's like there's an emptiness and a sadness and happiness and all kinds of things, emotions come flooding back, and that's exactly how I felt with Yogi. Everybody was, all of us that knew Yogi personally and hung out with him and golfed with him, and he was. You guys said it earlier. I heard on a little bit of soundbite there. Character, man, he was a character, to put it mildly, and there's one of a kind. I mean, he was genuinely one of a kind, and my God, he was hilarious. In any conversation that you ever had with him, just one-on-one, you had to listen because he was going to come up with a Yogiism right there. And in every conversation, almost, there was you had to laugh at things that he would say. And that was Yogi in a nutshell.
Now, Yogi was, when you came to the Yankees, he was the coach when you were here, correct? So you knew...
he was a coach when I was my 6 years with the Yankees. I grew up Yankee fan out here in Colorado. My mom and dad, my whole family were huge Yankee fans. And then getting to do what I did with the Yankees, just, my favorite day of the season was Old Timers Day.
BT was talking about that yesterday.
And I think it's a disconnect that we no longer get to be in the clubhouse with those guys. They've got a huge clubhouse. Before it got a little crowded, and I don't know if somebody complained or George, they lost a game, and then they kicked the old timers out of the clubhouse. But I thought that was a real disconnect from tradition, and having those guys and sharing a locker with me, and all of us felt the same way, that being in that clubhouse with that generation and that era of players was just amazing. The first day, I was like a kid in a candy store, looking around, and DiMaggio and Mantle and all of those greats. I pick one generation or one era. If I had to pick one generation or one era to play, it would have been that golden era of baseball. It wasn't about money. Money's ruined the game, I believe. And when we didn't make any money, they didn't care about us. Now they're babying the hell out of these guys, and
That's true.
The whole game has changed. And it was such a pleasure and honor to be in that clubhouse with those guys, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
I wish that every great Yankee fan could do what I did, because it was just amazing.
Yeah, and the generation that Goose is referring to, maybe for some of the younger fans that don't make the historical connection, he's talking about the 50s and the 60s and Willie Mays, and, I mean, obviously
even
non-Yankees.
the 40s and 30s,
Oh, you go back that
then
far,
on
huh?
up.
Okay, go back to Garrick and DiMaggio. I got you. Goose.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hear you.
It wasn't about money. It was about they would have paid them to play.
That's true. I don't know if this will make sense. It's my own little theory, and I said on the radio yesterday, and I said it on TV last night. Tell me what you think. Now, you turned, 64 this summer?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll appreciate this, I think. I turned 42 this summer. Tiki's 40. So we're not kids. I mean, that's for sure. Hopefully we have a lot of life to go and a lot of healthy and happy years. But I believe that if you're older and you have a grandparent that's still alive, and I don't know if you do, or Tiki doesn't either, but if you do, it's almost like an insulating security. You feel that there's a piece of your youth that's still there, even though you know in your heart you're getting older. And I apply that to somebody like Yogi Berra. Here you are, in your late 50s, going to the old timers, early 60s. I would think if I'm you, as long as I look around the room and I see a Yogi Berra, I can't be getting that old, right?
Well, the older you get, I think something was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was like 9 or 10 years ago. So, man, they say the older you get, the faster it goes. But, Yogi was such a character, and what a great guy. That's how I ended up growing my mustache, guys.
I didn't know that. Go
Yogi
ahead.
was in charge of hair in 1981. George had put him in charge of don't let their hair get long or curly or out of their. George was a serious disciplinarian, and we couldn't have a mustache past the corner of our mouth. And I came to spring training. I'd grown a full beard out here, and just in the off season, I just stopped shaving. Showed up in spring training just to bust, Yogi's chops, who was in charge of hair.
Hey, all right, Goose. So we had the hair police, Yogi. Go ahead.
So I'm standing in front of my locker, hanging my stuff up. I got this full beard. I'm just waiting for Yogi to tap me on the shoulder, and sure enough, he did. He said, "Hey, you got to shave that crap off. George is going to kick my butt." And so I said, "I have, Yogi. I just kept it to bust your chops." You go, "Well, George is going to kick my butt. Get your butt in there and shave that thing." I came out just to bust Yogi's chops again with a Fu Manchu. We could grow mustaches, but not past the corner of our mouth. So I had this big, bushy Fu Manchu, the same thing I've got today in 1981. And I kind of liked it, but I came back out, and George and Yogi's right there going, "Hey, it's going to be cut right here." And he's pointing to the corner of his mouth. He goes, "God damn it, George is going to kick my ass. Get in there and shave that thing off." So I kind of liked it, and that's how I ended up growing my Fu Manchu, but not before I busted Yogi's chop.
I did not know that. Goose Gossage with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. Goose, sometimes I think people think that Yogi tried to be witty or tried to be funny or tried to be wacky, but that was all natural, right?
Absolutely not. I mean, it was all Yogi, and nothing was ever premeditated with Yogi. Yogi was a very simple but a very smart guy. And, it was amazing. You'd ask a hitter might ask him how to hit, see ball, hit ball. There was no scientific, and there was no brain damage for sure about the way he went about his business. But let me tell you, he was very smart and very wise and just a character. And, he's going to be missed by everyone. He's like a cartoon character.
He is.
But what a great guy. And let me tell you, we're all going to miss him dearly. The fans, the players that were around him, his players, that whole generation of the players that Yogi played with is just amazing on down the list, all the way down the list.
It's a long list, and it's filled with baseball luminaries. Goose, final thing before we let you go. I thought when at the All-Star game in Cincinnati, and it's probably not even the right time to do it because he just passed away, but I said it the next day. I said it to Tiki. I said, you can make a real case that instead of Johnny Bench, that should have been Yogi Berra out there as the greatest catcher, greatest living catcher.
Well, for sure. And, that's just debatable. And Bench was such a great player.
No question.
And, unfortunately, we didn't get to see Yogi play day in and day out or play against him. So, I rank him right up there with the greatest with Bench. And those great teams handling that pitching staff and winning 10 world championships. Oh my God.
And played in 14 World Series. 14.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's you can't even comprehend it.
Now, we could do this all day. You know what I wish, Goose? We got to run. I wish that we were sitting at a table right now with a bottle of scotch, and I'd keep my mouth shut. And it's hard because I like to talk. I wouldn't say a word for an hour. I would just listen to you let the Yogi stories rip, man. Really appreciate it.
Well, we could go up there. We'll go up there, and we'll have a vodka with Yogi, and we'll talk old stories.
That's awesome. Hall of Famer Goose Gossage, pretty good in his own right. Thanks a lot, and condolences. Thanks for repping the Yankee family, Goose. Thank you.
You bet, guys.
Take care, Goose.